The Versace better win. Come real far, but don't know where I'm heading. Motherfucking crocodile of Wall Street. Silver on my fingers and boots on my feet.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Web3 channel. My name is Zach. In this video, we're doing another update on the Bitfinex hack money laundering situation, where of course the alleged couple have been accused of being behind the money laundering of billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in the Bitfinex hack of 2016. That being said, what we're looking at right now is essentially what happens next. What are we going to see? We're going to go through some documents to see exactly what is happening when it comes to the court. We're going to be looking at some tweets when it comes to live tweeting from the courtroom, etc. Let's go over it, and we're going over some background to start with, and then we'll go into the important other stuff later on. Liechtenstein is a dual Russian and US citizen who has an active Russian passport. This is the husband in the matter. Law enforcement seized Liechtenstein's US and Russian passports during the January 5, 2022 search warrant. Liechtenstein renewed his Russian passport in 2019. Both defendants traveled frequently prior to COVID, and travel records indicate they had been to Ukraine as recently as September of 19. Morgan lived in Hong Kong and Egypt between 2011 and 2013. Liechtenstein is self-employed as a sales-styled entrepreneur. Morgan owns a company, Salesfolk, that is incorporated in Hong Kong and was used in furtherance for the laundering scheme, and she published freelancing business articles in Forbes, which we will be looking at on this channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel for everything happening in this space. We're simply trying to make sure that you're aware of everything going on here. Although law enforcement has seized the majority of the stolen funds, there are at least 24 virtual currency addresses linked to the hack and believed to be in the defendant's control, for which law enforcement does not possess the private keys, i.e. law enforcement was not able to find the private keys in the defendant online accounts for which a warrant was granted. Those 24 addresses contain approximately 7,506 Bitcoin, which is currently valued at over 328 million USD. Looking at the argument when it comes to court order, we can see right here, Title 18 USC states, review of a release order. If a person is ordered released by a magistrate, the attorney for the government may file with the court having original jurisdiction over the offense a motion for revocation of the order or amendment on the conditions of release. The motion shall be determined promptly. On the government's motion to review a release order, this court considers de novo the magistrate's judge's denial of pretrial detention. In its discretion, the court may proceed to rehear the evidence by recalling the witnesses, reviewing transcripts, or by proceeding through pro-offer and argument. It may take additional evidence from new witnesses or consider arguments not previously raised. So US Sheffield 799 F sub, etc. In short, the court may proceed as best enables as it to resolve the question posed, whether any condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of any other person in the community. Here the defendants are sophisticated cyber criminals and money launderers who present a serious risk of flight and should be detained pending trial pursuant to 18 USC. They have possession and control over more than $3.6 billion in stolen Bitcoin from the 2016 hack of the victim virtual currency exchange. They engaged in an extraordinarily sophisticated laundering scheme to disguise millions of dollars more from the hoard of stolen Bitcoin from the 2016 hack of the VCC. Sorry, I'm getting my lines wrapped up here. Liechtenstein is a dual Russian national. Both defendants have traveled extensively and have foreign ties, and evidence uncovered in the investigation indicates preparation to obtain false passports. Meanwhile, law enforcement estimates that there at least $328 million in cryptocurrency linked to the hack remains unsecured. Given the substantial evidence against the defendants, the scale and sophistication of their laundering and deception efforts, their foreign ties and access to funds, and the substantial criminal penalties they are exposed to, there is no condition or combination of conditions short of pretrial detention that would reasonably assure their appearance for trial. The government respectfully submits that an immediate stay of the magistrate's judge's release decision is necessary to facilitate review of the detention decision by the court. The government intends to provide a more detailed submission and evidentiary pro-offer regarding the defendant's serious risk of flight. Wherefore, for the foregoing reasons and for any other such reasons as may appear to the court, the government respectfully requests that the court grant this motion and enter the attached proposed order to stay the release order entered by the magistrate Judge Freeman of the Southern District of New York. Now we can see right here, if we have a look at the the consideration for the motion for emergency stay and etc. We can see here Ilya, Liechtenstein, Heather Morgan, defendants, Judge Beryl Howell, upon consideration of the government's motion for emergency stay and for review of detention order on this day of 8th of February, so this was 2 days ago, ordered that the motion of an emergency stay is hereby granted and the release orders entered by Southern District of New York Magistrate Judge Freeman on February 8 is stayed pending review on the detention decision by this court. So my understanding, and I am not an expert whatsoever, but my understanding here is that essentially the government and the people in charge right now do believe that the couple are in too high of a likelihood essentially to try and flee, right? And I can understand why. I'm not going to necessarily insert all my opinions there, but now we're going to have a look at what is happening when it comes to inside the courtroom. We do in fact have someone in Asseti Press who has essentially tweeted about this. In DDC, they don't request monetary bond. They would like to stay in order to appeal, but we do have a conclusion for now at least that will lead us later on, but we'll go over that very soon. That wouldn't be necessary because it would take time to post the homes. Her parents are here. She has surgery tomorrow. This of course is from defense lawyer Anirudh Bansal, I assume. Judge Freeman, I am finding in your favor that a condition of release can be set. 100 million USD, Your Honor. I've never heard that in 20 years, and it does seem a bit much from the judge. AUSA, Mr. Liechtenstein has an account. We're talking about the co-signers. I'm going to do this separately. Mr. Liechtenstein, 5 million USD bond, parents' home posted, 5 co-signers, home detection with GPS. Is now Liechtenstein is whispering to seated lawyer Enzer, the author. Defense lawyer, could he get a flip phone to communicate with us? Could he come to our office on Old Slip near their apartment? These accounts, are they crypto accounts, cash, currency? Can we control how much he can access? I don't think it can happen so lightning fast, maybe in 24 hours, so I don't have to issue a stay to allow for the appeal. Liechtenstein, that is Miss Morgan, same on co-signers and all the same, but the bond is 3 million USD. Defense lawyer, her parents are here and you've taken the measure of them. Okay, just the parents for Ms. Morgan. And Mr. Liechtenstein, still 5 co-signers come back if there's a problem. To the defendants, do not prove me wrong and make me sign a warrant. And Ms. Morgan's parents, it is important that she appear. Okay, on the medical front, appointments after conditions are satisfied, follow-up on surgery, any concern there. There has been some pain. She needs to make sure there is no infection. Now, there is information on this, but I decided that this was not necessarily relevant specifically to the story, but you are more than welcome. Everything is public information for you to find yourself. I suspect if there's a slight delay, there are people I'll do medical attention reform and essentially making sure that everything is attended to. So essentially, that's where we are right now with that. But then literally in the past couple of hours, we now have more information. Now detainees in 3.6 billion USD Bitfinex hack, Liechtenstein and Morgan have been ordered transported from SDNY in New York down to DC for a redo of the bail hearing on February 14. What happened with MDC quarantine in Asseti Press story coming, and of course I will be updating with everything happening here, but just so you can read this and see what's going on here, having considered the government's motion to have the defendant transported from the Southern District of New York to the District of Columbia for further proceedings on the complaint filed against them, it is this 10th day of February 2022, today at the time of recording, ordered that the U.S. Marshal Service transport the defendants forthwith from the Southern District of New York to the District of Columbia for further proceedings in this matter. And I unfortunately cannot really read this very well, but from what I'm seeing, to unit hearing at 2 something on February 14, 2022, and that was signed by the judge. We'll be keeping you updated with everything happening here, but what we're seeing right now, from what I have seen online, we're looking at that, well, I say we, the defendants are currently looking at within the next sort of 20 years in prison if to be found for it. Of course, the question is what will happen here? What is the story going to be very soon? I'd imagine that we'll learn more next week about what's coming up, but we will be updating you with everything happening on this story on the Web3 channel, covering everything happening in the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space. We're going to be looking at some of Razzlekhan's previous stories on Forbes, and we're going to be looking at also the defense lawyer that she has, well, she and her partner Liechtenstein have, who is Anirudh Bansal, from what I'm seeing here. That being said, we'll be keeping you up to date with everything happening. Make sure to subscribe for everything happening. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next Web3 video.